My name is Raphael, and I learned a long time ago that money reveals people's true character. When my daughter Sophia told me she was getting married to Derek, I was happy for her, but I also needed to meet his family first. "Dad, Derek's parents want to have dinner with us this weekend," Sophia said over the phone. "That sounds great, honey. Where are we meeting?" "At their country club, Riverside Oaks." I smiled to myself. Perfect. I'll be there. What Sophia didn't know was that I had a plan. I was going to show up looking like an ordinary working man. I wanted to see how Derek's family would treat someone they thought had no money. The night of the dinner, I wore my oldest khakis and a plain shirt. I drove my beat-up pickup truck instead of my Mercedes. When I walked into the country club, Derek's mother Patricia looked me up and down with disgust. "So, you're Sophia's father," she said coldly. "That's me, Raphael. Nice to meet you folks." Derek's father Richard shook my hand limply, his nose wrinkled. "Raphael, what is it that you do for work?" Patricia asked. I'd prepared for this. "I do maintenance work, handyman stuff mostly." Richard nearly choked on his water. "You mean like manual labor?" "Honest work. It pays the bills." Patricia exchanged a look with Richard that made my blood boil. "Well, I suppose someone has to do those jobs," Patricia said. "Where do you live?" Richard asked. "Small apartment across town. Nothing fancy." "An apartment," Richard muttered. "At your age, you haven't managed to buy a house?" "Richard!" Sophia's face was red. "It's okay, honey," I said calmly. Patricia smiled coldly. "Derek, darling, your father and I were thinking you and Sophia should wait before getting married." "We're 28, Mom," Derek said. "No rush, especially when there are so many considerations." I knew exactly what she meant. "What kind of considerations?" "Financial compatibility is important in a marriage," Patricia said. "Derek comes from a certain background. We want to make sure he's making the right choice." Sophia stood up abruptly. "I can't believe you're saying this." "We're just being practical," Richard said. "You're being snobs." Sophia's voice shook with anger. "We're looking out for our son's future," Patricia snapped. "A marriage between your families would be complicated." "Complicated how?" I asked. "Derek is set to inherit his grandfather's estate," Richard said bluntly. "We need to protect that inheritance." "You think I'm after your money?" I asked quietly. "We're just being cautious," Patricia said. "A girl from a modest background sees a wealthy young man." "Stop right now, Mom," Derek said firmly. But I held up my hand. "No, let them speak." Patricia looked pleased. "We're simply saying that Sophia isn't the right fit for our family. Derek needs someone who can move in our social circles." "How much?" I asked. "Excuse me? How much money would it take for you to approve of my daughter?" Richard laughed harshly. "It's not about money, Raphael. It's about breeding, class, things you can't buy." "I see." I pulled out my phone. "Would you excuse me for just a moment?" I stepped away and made a quick call. When I returned, I was smiling. The dinner ended shortly after. Sophia was devastated. "I'm so sorry, Raphael," Derek said as we walked out. "It's not your fault, son, but I need to talk to Sophia alone." Derek nodded and headed to his car. "Dad, I can't believe them," Sophia sobbed. "They are horrible," I agreed. "But here's what you don't know. That whole dinner? I was testing them." She looked confused. "What?" "I'm not poor, Sophia. I wanted to see how they'd treat someone they thought had nothing." "You mean?" "I wore my oldest clothes on purpose. I told them I was a handyman. All of it was an act." Sophia's eyes widened. "Oh my God." "And they failed spectacularly. Now I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" "Of course, but what are you planning?" "I'm going to teach them a lesson about judging people." The next day I met with my attorney, Jennifer Collins. "So you pretended to be poor and they treated you like garbage?" Jennifer asked. "Worse. They basically told my daughter she wasn't good enough for their son." "And you want to expose them?" Derek's family is throwing an engagement party next weekend. Big event, all their fancy friends invited. They're still having it? Derek convinced them. He loves Sophia. But Patricia and Richard are planning to use the party to pressure him into breaking up with her. How do you know this? I played a recording. Patricia's voice was crystal clear. We'll invite all those single daughters of our friends. Derek will see what he's missing. He'll come to his senses and leave that gold digger. Jennifer's eyebrows shot up. Where did you get this? Derek's sister Vanessa sent it to Sophia. She actually likes my daughter and is disgusted by her parents. So Vanessa is on your side? Completely. She's been recording her parents for the past week. Jennifer leaned forward. What's your plan for this party? I smiled. I'm going to show up as myself. The real me. And who is the real you? CEO and founder of Hartman Industries. Net worth around $45 million. Jennifer laughed. Oh, this is going to be good. Over the next few days, Vanessa sent more recordings. Derek needs to wake up, Richard's voice said. That girl's father is a nobody. I've already talked to the Hendersons about their daughter, Michelle, Patricia added. Sophia listened with tears in her eyes. I can't believe they're doing this. Believe it, I said gently, but here's what we're going to do. I laid out my plan. Sophia would attend with Derek. I would show up separately in my best suit, arriving in my Mercedes. But won't they just think you rented it? Sophia asked. Not when the club manager introduces me. I'm actually on the board of directors at Riverside Oaks. I've been a member for 15 years. Wait, what? Vanessa laughed. Mom and Dad are going to lose their minds. That's the idea, I said. But there's more. Jennifer? My attorney pulled out a folder. I've done some digging. Patricia and Richard aren't as wealthy as they pretend. What do you mean? Derek asked. Your parents are deeply in debt, Jennifer explained. That country club membership? Overdue by 3 months. The house? Second mortgage. Your father's business is failing. Derek looked shocked. But they always act like they're rich, Vanessa finished. It's all a show. They're hypocrites, Sophia said. They called you a gold digger, but they're desperate for money. That's why they want Derek to marry someone wealthy, I confirmed. Derek stood up, his face hard. Then let's expose them. The engagement party was elegant, expensive, and full of pretentious people. I arrived late, pulling up in my Mercedes. The valet's eyes widened. Inside, I spotted the club manager, Thomas Bradley. Raphael, Thomas exclaimed. I didn't know you were coming. Wouldn't miss it. My daughter's engagement party. Your daughter? Sophia? She's marrying Derek Patterson? That's right. Thomas looked confused. But Patricia told everyone that Sophia's father was some kind of... That I was poor? Yes, I know. I let her think that. Understanding dawned on Thomas's face. Oh, you're going to enjoy this. Very much. I walked into the main hall. Patricia was talking loudly with guests. We're hoping Derek will reconsider, Patricia was saying. The girl is sweet enough, but her father is a handyman. I tapped her shoulder. Excuse me, Patricia. She nearly dropped her champagne. Raphael, what are you doing here? And what are you wearing? Tom Ford's suit. Do you like it? Thomas appeared beside me. Ladies, this is Raphael Hartman, CEO of Hartman Industries and one of our most distinguished board members. The women stared with mouths open. Patricia's face went white. Hartman Industries? But you said you were a handyman. No, you assumed. I just didn't correct you. Richard appeared, equally stunned. You drove a pickup truck. I own several vehicles. The pickup is useful, but I usually drive the Mercedes. Why would you lie to us? Patricia demanded. I didn't lie. I wanted to see how you'd treat someone you thought had no money. I pulled out my phone. And thanks to Vanessa, I have evidence of exactly how you treated us. I played the recording. Patricia's voice filled the room. That girl's father is a nobody. Derek needs to dump her. Patricia lunged for my phone. Turn that off! There's more, I said, playing another clip. Richard tried to grab me. Give me that phone! Thomas stepped between us. Richard, control yourself. Do you want to hear the best part? I asked the crowd. They called my daughter a gold digger. Meanwhile, they're broke. 3 months behind on club fees, second mortgage, failing business. That's private information, Patricia shrieked. So was your opinion of my daughter. Derek appeared with Sophia. It's true, Mom, Dad. I've seen the bank statements. You've been lying about your finances for years. Derek, we can explain, Richard started. Explain what? That you're hypocrites? Derek cut him off. You judged Raphael and Sophia for being poor when you're the ones who are broke? Vanessa joined her brother. I'm done covering for you. Everyone should know the truth. Patricia's face turned red. Vanessa, how dare you betray your family? You betrayed yourselves, Vanessa shot back. This is absurd, Richard blustered. Raphael, you had no right to deceive us. I had every right to test your character, and you failed. Thomas cleared his throat. Perhaps we should discuss this privately? No, I said firmly. These people humiliated my daughter in public. They get the same treatment. One of Patricia's friends spoke up. Patricia, is it true? Are you in financial trouble? That's none of your business, Margaret. You made it our business when you spent months bragging about your wealth, Margaret replied coldly. I loaned you $5,000 last year. Another guest stepped forward. You owe me money too, for charity auction items you never paid for. Richard held up his hands. Everyone, please, this is a misunderstanding. Is it a misunderstanding that you tried to sabotage your son's happiness? I asked. She was after Derek's inheritance, Patricia shouted. Derek laughed bitterly. What inheritance, Mom? Grandfather's estate went to pay off your debts. There is no inheritance. The crowd gasped. Derek, don't, Richard started. Don't what? Don't tell the truth? Derek put his arm around Sophia. I love Sophia. I don't care about money. I care about her. You'll regret this, Patricia hissed. You're hypocrites, Vanessa said. You've spent your lives pretending to be something you're not. Thomas stepped forward. Patricia, Richard, the board has reviewed your account. You're 3 months delinquent. We need full payment by week's end, or your membership will be terminated. Thomas, please, Richard begged. We just need more time. I'm sorry. Club policy. Patricia turned to me desperately. Raphael, surely we can work this out. We're going to be family. No, we're not. But Derek and Sophia. Derek and Sophia are getting married, but you won't be part of their lives. You can't do that, Patricia cried. Derek, tell him! Derek looked at his mother with disgust. After everything you've done, you're lucky I'm even speaking to you. We were protecting you, Richard insisted. From what? From a woman who actually loves me? Derek shook his head. I'm done. Vanessa, you can stay at my place. Thanks, big brother, Vanessa said. Margaret spoke up. Patricia, I want my money back by Monday. Me too, another guest added. Soon, several people were demanding repayment. Patricia looked around wildly. I don't have it! Raphael, please, you're a businessman. Surely you understand cash flow problems. I understand lying and manipulation, and I want nothing to do with either. Sophia stepped forward. Mrs. Patterson, you had your chance to be kind. Instead, you judged my father based on his clothes. We didn't know, Patricia protested. That's exactly the point, Sophia replied. You didn't know, but you judged anyway. What if my father really had been a handyman? Would that make him less worthy of respect? The crowd murmured agreement. Thomas spoke up. I think it's time for you both to leave. Leave? This is our party, Patricia shrieked. Actually, it's Derek and Sophia's party, Thomas corrected, and they're asking you to go. Derek nodded. You need to leave. Derek, please, Patricia begged, tears streaming. We're your parents. We love you. You love my supposed inheritance. Now go. Security appeared to escort them out. As they were led away, Richard turned back. Raphael, you'll regret this. We'll sue you. Jennifer, who'd been watching, laughed. Please do. I'd love to play those recordings in court. The party continued. Guests approached me with apologies and congratulations. That took courage, Margaret said. Sophia hugged me tight. Thanks, Dad. For what? For standing up for me. Derek shook my hand. I'm sorry about my parents, Raphael. You couldn't have known, but now you do, and you chose Sophia anyway. Always, Derek said, pulling Sophia close. Thomas raised his glass. To honesty and integrity. The guests echoed the toast. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply revealing the truth and letting people face the consequences of their own actions. Patricia and Richard had built their lives on lies. All I did was shine a light on reality. Have you ever tested someone's character by pretending to be someone you're not? Sometimes, you learn more about people when they think you have nothing to offer them. Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.